Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Before we get into the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel if you guys are new. And with that being said, we're going to start off with the car sitting here behind me. This is the Declasse Drogger. It's 40% off this week and it is one of the best off-road class vehicles in the entire game. As far as racing goes, I think this thing still is the best thing in the entire game. As far as non-HSW racing cars are concerned for the off-road category, it's super fun to drive, great off-road, has a bit of customization, and overall it is a very impressive vehicle. We're going to talk about it more later when we get onto the websites, but for right now we're going to talk about the money bonuses going on this week in online. Starting off with the weekly challenge, this week if you complete 5 Mr. Faber jobs through the car wash, you will receive a bonus $100,000. And those Mr. Faber work missions are also paying double money and double RP, and 4 times money and RP for GTA Plus members. So those are actually going to be a relatively decent way to make money this week. We also have double money and double RP on time trials, as well as G's Cash and Stockpile. I don't believe that I've ever actually played Stockpile, so maybe I should do that this week if I get a chance to. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's to do with aircrafts. I think it's almost like Aircraft Capture the Flag, if I'm not mistaken. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments down below. I'm actually very curious to understand what it's like. Now, sadly, that's it for money bonuses. There's nothing better than that. So if you're a lower level, I would advise you to probably try out Stockpile. Definitely do the double money, time trials, and Mr. Faber work is a good option if you have the business that unlocks it. If you don't, just grind businesses, I guess. It goes for everybody pretty much. Grind businesses this week. Shocker. Starting off under the two-door section on Legendary Motorsport, we have the Pegassi Zaruso, 40% off here, going for $1,155,000. The Zaruso is a relatively okay car to drive. However, I do think it's pretty ugly. I know that is subjective, obviously. It does have the missile lock-on jammer available for it now, which is cool, but overall for the money, I really don't feel like this car is worth it. It used to be one of the sort of better supercars in GTA Online, but now that HSW is out and now that we've got more supercars into the game, it's been overshadowed largely, and I really don't think it's worth this amount of money. Customization is also pretty disappointing on this car, and the performance does tend to be a little bit shoddy at times. It does tend to oversteer really badly, and generally not have the best handling ever, nor the greatest top speed or acceleration. So it's a good car for maybe 500,000, but that's never going to happen, so I would avoid it. Now obviously, if you really want the Zaruso for some reason, now is going to be a really good time to buy it. So for the 2 of you watching this that really like the Zaruso for some reason, now is going to be your time to buy it. Scrolling almost all the way to the bottom on Legendary, we also have the Grotti Bestia GTS for $366,000. If you've never driven this car, I would honestly recommend you to give it a shot. It's a shooting brake, 2-door, all-wheel drive Grotti sports car, and it's quite nice to drive. It has a bit of customization as well. For $366K, you kind of can't go wrong with it. Like, it's all-wheel drive, it kind of looks pretty cool. It's unique. You probably will never see another player driving it. I really like the Bestia GTS. It's one of my favorite Grotti cars in the entire game for sure. So I would recommend it for this price. It's not going to be for everybody, but if it sounds at least mildly interesting to you, you may want to pick it up. Under the 4-door section, we have the Gallivanter Baller STD. One of the faster SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online. It also does have Imani Tech upgrades available for it. However, something to note is that it does not have the armor plating upgrade for it. But oddly enough, it has bullet-resistant windows. Go figure how that works. It doesn't really make any sense. But as far as SUVs go, non-HSW SUVs, this thing is one of the better ones for sure. The only competition this thing has is the Canis Castigator, but I will say the Canis Castigator, in all my experience, has absolutely annihilated the Baller STD on track, and this is the 2nd fastest SUV. So in terms of performance, it's really good for free mode, but in terms of racing, you will lose to the Castigator almost all the time. It does have some really nice customization. It's a great looking baller. In my opinion, it's the best baller in the game. So if you are a baller fan, you will probably want to buy this thing while it's on sale. Plus, having the Imani Tech missile lock-on jammer and the bullet resistant windows is not a bad feature as well. Customization wise, lots to do. It's all-wheel drive. Overall, it's a pretty solid car. If you like ballers or you like SUVs in general, I would say this is a good one to pick up while it's on discount. But if you're not really into SUVs, you probably don't need to own this thing, even though it is a pretty good deal. Moving over to Elitist Travel, we have the Seabreeze on sale for 40% off this week as well, going for $510,000. This plane is really interesting, and I do recommend buying it. You will need to own a hangar in order to purchase it, so keep that in mind. It's weaponizable, it can have missiles, and a fun fact about the Seabreeze is that it can go directly into the water. Like, I'm talking, you are going 100% towards the water full throttle. You'll hit the water and you will bounce out of the water and go back up into the air. You can also land on the water, which is cool and occasionally can actually be useful for certain like CEO cargo sourcing missions, for example, maybe even some hangar sourcing missions, stuff like that. Overall, I think it is a very cool plane, and for 500 grand, I do not think you can go wrong with purchasing it. So I recommend this for pretty much everybody. On the complete contrary to that, we have the Annihilator. This thing spawns at Sandy Airfield more often than not. It also spawns at the heliport more often than not. It can spawn at the airport. I would absolutely not purchase this thing. It's also a Pegasus vehicle, so it's not like you're going to be able to, call it from your hangar or whatever, unless of course you already own it as a Pegasus vehicle and fly it to your hangar. And even then, all you'll be able to do is probably change the color, if you can even do that, to be honest. I'm not even 100% sure of that. For 1.1 mil, you're getting robbed. I would not buy the Annihilator, as cool as it is, but if you want one, just go get one for free. You're going to have to go to the heliport to pick it up anyways, even if you called it through Pegasus. So save yourself 1.1 mil and don't buy it. Over on Warstock, Cash and Carry, we have a couple discounts, one being on the Western Rogue for $720,000. And if you do not have the trade price, it's probably going to be just over or just under $1 million. And for either of these prices, you should absolutely buy the Rogue if you have a hangar. It's a two-seater, propeller-driven aircraft. You can equip homing missiles, bombs, and explosive machine guns on it, or non-explosive machine guns as well. It's very fast. It's actually the third fastest plane in the entire game, topping out at like 220 something miles per hour, which is fast as hell, especially for a propeller plane. It's also got some livery options. You can color it. It's a very good plane. It's also super maneuverable with race handling, and it's one of the better dogfighters in the game. So we had the Starling on discount last week. It's known as the best dogfighter according to Starling people, but the Rogue is like half the price of that thing with the trade price, and the Rogue is faster, and it's also quite maneuverable. It's also very good at dogfighting. I would personally take the Rogue over the Starling. I would absolutely buy a Rogue this week. We also have the weaponized Tampa on discount on Warstock this week as well. This thing is absolutely incredible if you have the bunker research unlocked to make it really good. Through bunker research, you can unlock a dual minigun turret that's actually controllable with your controller or your mouse, and you can aim and shoot as such. It also has optional front-mounted missiles through bunker research again, a proximity mine dropper through bunker research again, and a rear-mounted mortar, you guessed it, through bunker research again. And you can also change the armor plating levels on the vehicle, which do absolutely nothing as far as armor is actually concerned, but that's also unlocked through bunker research. If you have at least the dual minigun turret unlocked through bunker research, you should buy the weaponized Tampa. It is a fantastic vehicle. It takes the regular Tampa and makes it all-wheel drive, so it's much better off the line, and it can corner much better than the regular Tampa, and the miniguns on it are absolutely excellent. So if you have the miniguns unlocked, you should buy a weaponized Tampa. It is 100% worth it. If you don't have the miniguns unlocked, go to your bunker, check your research, see if it's up next, see how many things you have remaining through bunker research, and if you think you can get it at some point in the near future, buying a Tampa right now while it's on discount is a good idea. It's probably going to be going for about 1.4 mil if you don't have the trade price for it. I would say either price is very well worth it, but one thing to note is that this thing has absolutely no explosive resistance. So if it gets hit by an RPG, sticky bomb, grenade, explosive round, it is going to die instantly. So it's a glass cannon. It can output a lot of damage, but it cannot receive any. So that's something you can keep in mind for sure. Luckily, the miniguns do allow for an insane amount of range for you to target people from, so that is good. Overall, I would say everyone should have a weaponized Tampa. It is a awesome vehicle. Next up, we have the Mammoth Hydra for $1.8 million to $2.4 million, depending on if you have the trade price or not. The Hydra is a VTOL jet. I'm sure many of you have been griefed by them over the years. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it was nerfed in 2023, and the explosive cannon on it now is nowhere near as good as it used to be. It and the laser shared the exact same cannon prior to this change happening, and it absolutely shredded. It would blow up an insurgent in like 1 second of direct cannon fire, which albeit was a little bit OP, but it was also a lot of fun. But anyways, the Hydra for $1.8 million, if you don't have an F-160 Raju, for 1.8 mil, it's like kind of justifiable to me. Initially, it will be a Pegasus vehicle, so you will have to call it through Pegasus, but you can also take the Pegasus Hydra to a hangar if you own one, and you can put it in there and also make a personal Hydra, which you will be able to request through the interaction menu, and you will also be able to change the color of it if you choose to. So that is pretty cool. I think if you can get it for 1.8 mil, the value is still there. It is still a fairly convenient vehicle. The Raju is just much better than the Hydra in literally every single way, other than the cannons. The Raju's cannons are spaced out on the wings. The Hydras are directly mounted underneath the cockpit. So you do get a lot more accuracy with the guns on the Hydra. They also have the exact same homing or non-homing missiles, but the Raju also has stealth mode, and the VTOL is a lot more controllable and precise on the Raju. So look up a review on the Hydra before you purchase one, I would say, but if you can get it for 1.8, I think it is kind of still worth it. 2.4, it's like getting to the point where it's kind of a toss-up if it's worth it or not anymore. If you have lots of money, I'd say for 2.4 mil, why not? You will probably use it. But like I said, if you own an F-160 Raju, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say it, I don't really think there's a point in you purchasing a Hydra. So there you have it. Over on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, underneath the two-door section, we have the Volcar Nebula Turbo and the Vapid Dominator GTX, both on sale for 40% off. The Volcar Nebula Turbo has a drift tuning upgrade for it now, which is pretty cool. I do think it is one of the weaker drift tuning cars in the game, but it does have a ton of customization, which is really cool, and it's based off of a Volvo, which there's barely any of in the game. So if you're a big Volvo fan, you may want to consider purchasing this thing. I will just say though, without drift tuning even equipped on this thing, this vehicle is extremely likely to drift, and if you want it for performance reasons, like, you know, going around corners and stuff like that, don't expect that from the Nebula Turbo. It is going to spin out on you, and it's going to want to drift. It's a very oversteer heavy car. Like I said, customization wise is cool. In a straight line, it's fine, but in the corners, you will be drifting no matter what. So if that sounds enticing to you, buy it. I'd say for most people though, you're probably going to want to avoid the Nebula Turbo. Next up, we have the Vapid Dominator GTX for $435,000. I think for this price, it's kind of a toss-up if you should buy it or not. The Dominator GTX initially was a very disappointing car because it had something called engine resistance, essentially made the car way slower than it should have ever been. The acceleration was terrible, it would shift late, resulting in bad acceleration, of course, and a low top speed. Customization wise, there's actually quite a bit that can be done to this car, especially for the time frame, so that is cool. For $435K, I would say if you ever want to own a Vapid Dominator GTX and you don't currently, now is definitely going to be the time to get one. However, I would still advise most players to stay away from it. Engine resistance has been slightly fixed, but at the end of the day, it still does exist, and this car does suffer from it still. So I'd say for most people, you're probably going to want to avoid it, but if you really want one, now is definitely the time to buy it. Speaking of engine resistance cars, we also have the Vapid Ellie available this week, discounted 40% off for $339,000 or $254,250 if you have the trade price. You should probably avoid the Ellie. The Ellie is like the Dominator GTX, but worse performance-wise. The engine resistance is significantly worse on this car because this car is a lot slower than the GTX. It also has barely anything in the way of customization, which is super unfortunate. So I'd say for most people, you're going to want to avoid the Ellie. It's just one of those cars. It looks absolutely awesome. It looks like it would be great, but unfortunately, it actually completely sucks. So for most players, I would avoid the LE. If you've been wanting one for a long time, you may want to buy it now because it is discounted. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we also have the Declassy Drogger under the off-road category on Southern for sale this week. 841,500 if you have the trade price unlocked, or 1,122,000 if you do not. I'd say if you have it for the trade price, it's definitely a buy. Even if you only off-road occasionally or off-road race occasionally, I think it's still worth it to have like the best off-roader in the game. For over 1.1 mil, it's like less justifiable for sure. I would say you would have to be somewhat interested in actually off-roading and off-road racing to get the value out of the vehicle. It is a really awesome truck. I swear by it. I absolutely love it for off-roading, but not everybody is going to agree. Within the casino, we have the Grotti Furia available to be won. You should absolutely try to win this thing. It is an awesome car. Within the LS car meet, we have the Pegassi Infernus Classic available to be won, and in order to win, you're going to have to place top 3 for 3 days in a row. Relatively easy challenge. It's a fun car. You should definitely try to win it if you're interested. Within the car meet, these are the vehicles that are available. We have the Dubocci Exemplar on the left for $205,000. It is a pretty cool four-door version of the Rapid GT, so I like it. No customization though, unfortunately, so consider that before purchasing for sure. We also have the Vapid Click in the middle here for $909,000. I don't think it's worth it anymore. It used to be one of the best muscle cars in the game, but unfortunately with HSW and all the new muscle cars and stuff like that, it's no longer that great. Customization wise, it's got a little bit that can be done to it, but overall I don't really feel like it's worth that price tag anymore. And of course the Invitero Coquette for 138 grand, and I think that is 100% worth it. It's got a lot of customization, good performance, fun car to drive, looks great. Definitely try to buy one. We also have the Coil Cyclone 2 as the HSW test ride for the week, and you can also purchase it for $3,069,430. I don't recommend it. The Coil Cyclone 2 is very disappointing. Within Simeon's, we got some interesting vehicles available this week. We have the Ocelot Lynx here. Unfortunately, this thing is just not worth the money that it costs. $1,735,000 is a lot. It does have some nice customization. It also sounds cool. It looks fantastic, but it's not worth 1.7 mil no matter what. If you want a Lynx, definitely wait for it to go on sale. I would say overall it's just it's such a cool car, but it's just not worth 1.7 mil. Just there's no world which it is. We also have the Western Wolfsbane for 113 grand. I honestly don't really know much about it. If it looks interesting to you, you may want to consider it, but if it doesn't, then avoid it. We also have the Pegassi Vaca for $240,000 here. It's a pretty cool car, but it is literally like one of the worst supercars in the entire game. So if you're going to be buying it, buy it for nostalgia for sure. Not much in the way of customization. Performance kind of sucks. It's rear wheel drive, so it's bad off the line and stuff like that. Handling is also not that awesome. We also have the Canis Bodhi for 25 grand. For 25k, you can't go wrong. If you want it, buy it for sure. Even if you don't want it, you may want to buy it too. Also have the Vapid Retinue as well, and it is going for 637 grand. I feel like for that price, it's like not terrible. You'd have to be interested in the car itself, to be honest. So I'd say for most players, probably going to want to avoid it. At Luxury Autos, we got a whole lot of mid, and I got hit by a car. Hell yeah. Okay, got the Annus Minimus and the Grotti LS Carmichita Classic. Within the salvage yard, we have 3 vehicles available to be stolen, but none of them are claimable. That's awesome. We have the Albany Cavalcade XL by completing the Duggan robbery. We have the Bravado Buffalo EVX by completing the Podium robbery, and the Pegassi Ignis by completing the McTony robbery. The priority file this week within the Garment Factory is the Brute Force file, so it's on double. Alright guys, and the gun van location for today is here at Vespucci Beach, very close to the pier. And within the gun van this week, we have the L Strickler, the Tactical SMG, the Railgun, the Gusenberg Sweeper, the Vintage Pistol, and of course the Switchblade. And the Tactical SMG is 30% off this week, so if you don't have one of these, you should get one. They're better than the AP pistol. It can hold 60 rounds in a mag with the extended mag, so you should absolutely have one if you don't. We have pipe bombs, tear gas, and sticky bombs in here, and of course body armor 10% off. Your RC Bandito time trial today is Construction Site 1. Your Junk Energy time trial today is Sewer System. Your regular time trial is Coast to Coast, and your HSW time trial is Pacific Bluffs to Mount Gordeau, so it's going to start right here, and it's going to end just before the lighthouse jump right here. Anyway guys, there you have it. That's been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or you learned something, dislike if you didn't, of course, and consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.